Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us. Obviously, your first back-to-back losses, they happen at home. I can't imagine that you're thrilled with how everything played out tonight. But what did you see from the game?
I thought the first 60 minutes were pedestrian. It was slow. It was just blah. I think our defending in general is just not good enough. We give away too many chances. We give away too many goals. It's on me, and it's going to change in the next 3 weeks. We have 3 weeks until we play a game next week, which I want to see a reaction. But we have 3 weeks to get better defensively because we can't keep conceding goals and chances at the rate we are. And it's a mentality. Our mentality is that we love to attack and we love to have the ball, but we cheat defensively and we rest and we don't concentrate and we don't do the little things that it takes to be a good defending team. We cheat them, and it's going to end. Our guys aren't going to be on the field. I've shared that with them, and it's going to end. Our mentality to defend has to change. We're going to be a good attacking team. I'm confident in that. I'm sure of it. As we get everybody rolling, the second half, when we made some changes, the intensity and the forward thinking and the attacking hit another speed and another level, no problem. But our defending and giving up chances is just ridiculous right now, and it's on me. We're going to change it.
Thanks, Greg.
Next, we'll go to Damian Kelman.
Hey, Greg, you were talking there about the attacking, but I think in the month of August, the offensive output has sort of waned down a little bit. You haven't scored multiple goals since, I think, late July. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, some of it is, missing opportunities. Some of it is because we don't defend well and we start too many attacks deep in our half of the field. It's, many goals are scored in transition. Many goals are scored when you recover balls in good areas, when the team is disorganized and you play forward and you attack quicker. We've been pretty impotent on set pieces at times, but we're leaving out a whole section of the game, in my opinion, where the majority of goals are scored because it's too easy for the opposition just to get into our half the field and for us to recover balls too deep in our area. I think we're the team who starts the attacks the deepest of any team in the league, which means we have to go anywhere from 120 to 85 yards every time we want to create a chance. So I think we can help ourselves. We can build more momentum into our attacks. If we can, as a group, we need to change our mentality to defend, to be harder to play against on that way, to recover balls in better ways, to play forward in those transitions, to build the momentum like we had in the second half. It had some speed to it. I thought at times we have to be able to play with speed and move the ball and move off the ball, but still remain disciplined about our positions to protect ourselves in transitions. But at least it was forward thinking. It made the opposition make some decisions. It made them have to make some plays in and around their goal. And then, of course, when we get into those areas, we've got to put things away. Kevin had another chance. He doesn't get it on goal. We have chances. Last game, we have a point-blank header from Derek, and the keeper makes a save. We had Sam hit the post. We have chances here and there. Tonight, I don't think we have as many chances as we should because we start our attacks too deep on the field too often. We need to start attacks higher, which means we need to defend better, and we need to recover balls higher. But as I said to our guys, I think as a group, our mentality to defend isn't where it needs to be if we want to compete for anything. I think we love having the ball, but we don't necessarily work the way we need to work to get the ball back, and that mentality has to shift.
One more thing. Could some of this even be you guys are in your, I know you don't want to use excuses, but this is a third game in 7-day stretch here. Could part of that play the factor in tonight's performance?
Yeah, maybe, but for me, that's, the stat I gave you about where we start our attacks is a season-long attack, or a season-long stat. We start them the deepest of any team in the league. That's, if you want to be aggressive and you want to impose yourself on the opposition, then we can't start our attacks deep in our half. We've talked about this over the last little bit, but it's now that our team has come together, our group is together, we're going to have some training sessions over the next couple of weeks. We have to improve on that side. That is the low-hanging fruit for us, is we have to defend better. And that means more than one thing, but it has to be better.
Thank you.
And last question, we'll go to Gio Garcia.
Hey, Greg.
Yep.
I know it's a difficult game, especially against a rival like this. Obviously, with so many games, and you had to make a lot of rotations. But you also had a week for your next game. Do you wish you would have went differently with the starting lineup?
I mean, in a way, the game kind of set up how I thought we could set it up, which is we give the opportunity for the guys who who came on the field fresh to be able to push for the game. But again, coming out of the second half, the first 10 minutes of the second half, we give up a goal. We can't do that. And then the guys we put on were fresh and went for it. But there's more to it than that. Some of it is guys that we're trying to get fit. It's guys who are playing a ton of matches. It's guys who we're trying to manage a little bit. It's still the middle of the season in the middle of the summer. So it's not just about the one result. There's still a big picture here that we're trying to play towards. Having said that, guys are playing for the starting positions now. I think our team is getting more competitive for spots, and guys are going to have to perform on both sides of the ball. And so, guys right now are getting chances, but as the season grows closer to the end, there's going to be less and less chances as we get closer to the playoffs, which we've got to still secure. But as we get there, guys who are competing on both sides of the ball the best in their roles are going to be the guys who are on the field. And right now, guys should be competing for those spots right now.
I can just add, does this change anything with Chicharito's timeline? I know you said he may be available for LAFC, but what you mentioned that you guys starting your attacks more on the deeper end, does that change the time frame you have for Chicharito to come back and play?
No, I mean, it's our time frame for Javier is going to be whatever is the safest to get him on the field and the best way for us to have him for the rest of the season in an ideal scenario. You know, with one match coming up next week and then 2 weeks after that, if he doesn't feel really, really good for next week, then we may not play him next week because we win 2 more weeks of time to really push him forward. So it's not something any of us wants to do, but we just have to do what's smart and understanding that the most important part of the season is still in front of us in the grand scheme of things, and we need to have everybody available for us as we push down the end.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Katia from ESPN Deportes.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Kat.
On that same topic, two-part question about Javier. How hard has it been? You were talking about those chances, that long stretch that you guys have had, one of your DPs, one of the most important guys, and in moments like this when you need that finishing. Then the second part of that question would be if you guys already have a plan of what's going to happen with him with the All-Star. I know you've been trying to be so careful with him, so if you have already a plan in regards to that.
Yeah, we have a plan, and it's been communicated internally, and that obviously involves communication with the league and everything else. So that is obviously a work in progress as you have guys who are trying to return from injury who've been off for a long period of time. So yeah, that's a work, and it's not for me to share here, but it's obviously an ongoing discussion. Yes, I mean, obviously when you have a striker like Javier who was in the form that he was in, it gives you a margin of error for victory or for a mistake here or there sometimes that because you maybe get the goal that you're not getting right now when we're getting chances. We need too many chances to score a goal where Javier will score a goal in less chances. So sometimes that gives you a margin of error, but it doesn't change the fact that we have to defend better and get Javier back, and that increases our chances even better for victory. But when you need some goals here and there, when we've been manufacturing goals over this stretch since he's been out, it'll be when the time is right. It's going to be nice to get him back in, but we've got to get him back in form quickly too. And there's no guarantee a guy who's been off that long is just going to step on the field and start banging in goals again. So we've got to try to work that process and get him in rhythm and going as quickly as we can as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And last question will go to Sophie.
Hey, Coach.
Sophie.
Kevin Cabral seemed to have a really poor game today. He seemed slight on the ball, didn't really have the tenacity, kept losing the ball. The midfield played towards him, and it felt like that's where maybe play kind of broke down and stuff like that. Don't want to be too hard on him, but it just felt like he wasn't in the game, and he just felt a little bit weak today. What's your thoughts on that? Do you feel like he's progressing the way you want him to, or are you disappointed?
Yeah, I thought, in general, I think he's making progress. Again, he's a player who gets into dangerous spots. He's got to have a higher ratio of finishing those dangerous chances than he does. There's some times where he gives us something that nobody else gives us. Regardless of what anybody says about Kevin or anything, he runs to the depth, and nobody else on our team runs to the depth like he runs to the depth. And so there's something different about what he brings to our team than anybody else that's on our team. Most everybody else likes to get the ball at their feet between the lines, but somebody has to open up the space and somebody has to open up the game. Kevin does that. Having said that, tonight, too many duels he lost, too many balls where he's receiving it in a one-on-one game where you have to be able to hold the ball under pressure and bring your teammates into the play. You got to be able to win a little time for your teammate to get on the other side of his defender in a game where you're playing in a one-on-one type of game, and he lost too many balls, and that's for sure. There's no question, no hiding from that, and he has to be better. That's one of the areas he has to improve, is getting physically stronger, managing the physicality of the game better, especially in these teams that get in tight to him. But that's one aspect of his game that he must improve. The second is finishing, obviously, his chances when he does. But he has such a unique gift, which is that to stretch the field. And Sam sometimes stretches the field. Javier on the field sometimes stretches the field a little bit more. But with the quality of players that we have that play between the lines, we have to have guys who stretch the field, or else those guys will have no space to play. And you won't see Victor in the game. You won't see Seba. You won't see those guys who we have that are special between the lines if we don't have guys who stretch the depth. And Kevin does that more than anybody else. 1,500 to 1,200 high-speed meters per game going behind the line. So he's got to get better. There's no question. That's a process, but he does something different than anybody else does on our team. And we have to improve him, and he has to be focused on improving and getting stronger and doing the things that he has to do to be more effective.